Hey, good afternoon, everybody that's on the East Coast. Good morning to everybody else in the rest of the country. And to those of you that are watching a replay of this show, God bless you, whatever time it may be for you. I'm Frank Morano. Welcome to Liquid Lunch TV. If you're a regular viewer of this show, a dedicated religious viewer of this show, as you should be, we cover it all. Finance, politics, you name it. We'll give you the latest on what's happening in Wall Street in just a moment. You'll notice that something very important to this show is missing, something integral, something that many of us thought we couldn't do the show without. Of course, I'm talking about the fact that we are out of bubbly. Yes, I am doing this show for the first time in a long, long time without bubbly. Bubbly is by far my favorite sparkling water. I don't know what they do to it. There must be something that they're putting in there, like MSG or something that's hooking me, but I've never seen anything like this. But we're out. So anything can happen today. We don't know what will happen. I'm reduced to drinking unsweetened green tea, which I can tell you, my friends, pales in comparison. There's a ton of news happening. We're going to get to it all. The Kavanaugh situation, the Federal Reserve, and this incredible situation that is embroiling the United States in the Middle East with respect to Iran. But none of those are the subjects that I'm speaking, frankly, about. General Motors and United Automobile Workers Union are holding more discussions today as a nationwide strike enters a second day. Negotiations reportedly were tense yesterday as the two sides are at odds over wages and health care. The strike helped drive down GM's stock price more than 4% yesterday. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek says he must undergo another round of chemotherapy. The 79-year-old host told ABC's Good Morning America that his doctors wanted to do more treatment because he lost 12 pounds in 1 week and his numbers went sky high. Trebek had just returned for season 36 of the hit game show after finishing up chemo for stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And finally, economists expect the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates tomorrow. If it does, it would be the second time in 2 months that the central bank has cut the rate. The Fed is likely to cut the rate to between 1 3/4% and 2%. More on that in our second hour. That's right. As promised, we are going to dive headfirst into this Federal Reserve situation. Anything can happen. George Selgin from the Cato Institute is going to join us. Now, the Cato Institute, they're traditionally kind of a libertarian/conservative-based think tank, but they are ticked off at what it looks like the Federal Reserve is going to be doing tomorrow with respect to interest rates. So interest rates are already near a historic low, but apparently what looks like bowing to political pressure, it looks like they're going to follow the lead of the rest of the country and move towards, rest of the world and go even lower. It's going to be interesting to see how that affects the stock markets, John.
Well, Frankie, I think the markets are again in a little bit of a turmoil situation here because the president continues to pound on the Federal Reserve chair. And the markets, as I've said many times on this show, do not like uncertainty. They're hoping he lowers rates. They also are hoping that they can get a straight answer out of someone there. So while we still have some China fears, we have European GDP fears all over the place, there still remains a lot of uncertainty out there. And, you know what I've said. I think we're doing great right now. And lowering rates at this point just to spur on more economic growth may be, a fool's errand because should the contagion that's going on in Europe reach our shores, we need a little ammo in the bank by way of interest rates to be able to lower them then as an emergency measure rather than do it right now as a gratuitous or vanity measure, the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what George Selgin has to say. And this Kavanaugh situation is certainly pretty fascinating. Now, John, you were slightly late today, so we actually reduced the budget for your Tobacco's 2 cents commentary from 2 pennies to 1. So we've actually cut it in half. But as you can see, we have a penny there earmarked for you.
1 cent worth of time
exactly.
Today? What's on my mind today for my 1 cent instead of 2 cents is For those of you who are still considering, or for those of you in the less than 1% of America who's still considering Bill Warren Wilhelm de Blasio to be your presidential candidate, here in New York, he's going to the gym, sleeping late, spending 7 hours in a month in City Hall, spending all this taxpayer money, flying around the country with a security detail from here, from the NYPD here in New York. And on top of everything else, for those of you who harken back to the days of your childhood, when you were in elementary school and you went into the lunchroom to get your lunch and you bought a little container of chocolate milk, just like I did back in the day, Warren Wilhelm, a.k.a. Bill de Blasio, new plan is to ban chocolate milk.
Oh, boy.
That's the big new initiative here in New York. They have meatless Mondays now. Somehow Bill de Blasio thinks it's his job to create nutritional options for kids in school. But now this is just sick, because this chocolate milk that I so love, and I think we all loved the little container of chocolate milk in elementary school. You can't do this in school very soon, because Bill de Blasio, instead of running the city, he's worried about chocolate milk being served in cafeterias. So if there was any reason you were thinking about it, voting for this idiot for president, think about the old days when you enjoyed a nice swig of chocolate milk with your lunch. If he's president, he may take chocolate milk out of your fridge.
Well, look, I think there's nothing wrong with kids in public school. I want to point out that, by the way, Washington, D.C. has already banned chocolate milk in their schools. San Francisco has already banned chocolate milk in their schools. I'm glad to see those cities have nothing else to worry about.
But if you're an illegal immigrant, you can have chocolate milk. You can have free college. You could have free school. You can't get arrested. You can get a driver's license. And, by the way, all you American kids, no chocolate milk for you, but illegal immigrants, you can have
that.
That
is not true. That is not part of the DOE proposal.
That's what I think. That's what I think is true.
Make that very clear.
Because they get everything we don't.
Well,
they get in New Jersey now. They're trying to give them driver's licenses.
You know what I'd like to know, John? So their DOE, Department of Education in New York City, is talking about implementing a plan where they would do away with chocolate milk and only serve plain old regular white milk in schools. So we are going to see schools.
Well, white milk? That sounds racist. They only serve white milk.
That's the question.
Now?
What? Where is
this is crazy.
Where is Al Sharpton now?
Where's the multiracial milk? This sounds like milk inequality to me. White milk.
Think of the message that this is going to send.
Sounds like a Donald Trump
to
initiative.
Our young children. That only white milk in schools, no alternative color of milk. This is insane. I mean, this is only going to reinforce that white is somehow the only acceptable milk color. And that's not really what a multicultural society is supposed to be promoting.
Bill de Blasio may be a white milk nationalist. What do you mean? What is this? Where's the rainbow milk?
Look, I'm all for having a conversation.
Why are you laughing at me? This is the craziest thing ever. How do you have only white milk?
I am all for
this country is made up of immigrants, people of all colors, all sexes, all shapes, all sizes.
You are
Where's
shot
the
out of a
neutral
cannon
milk
this morning, brother.
Where's the gender neutral milk?
Well, anyway, I don't see what the whole moo-ha-ha is all about. But I will tell you.
Frankie made a joke.
Thank you. I will tell you that there is a big problem with the nutritional value of children's lunch programs. Now, I was one of those people saying, you remember, we were on What's the Deal, our Sunday show at the time, when Meatless Mondays was first proposed. I was saying, yeah, that's great, let's do it. But they didn't replace the meat options in school with healthy alternatives. They replaced them with things like pizza, macaroni and cheese, tacos. These are not healthy foods. Replacing meat.
Really? Who cares, Frankie? They're kids. Give them a taco, give them a slab of pizza, give them a hot dog.
I know, but the problem is there is a huge obesity problem amongst America's youth, and it is going to lead to increased health care costs and ultimately a lower life expectancy. They say this generation of children, who knows if this is true, this might be one of those things they just say, is the first...
Who's they?
They're out there.
Oh,
they're experts. They're watching. They're watching. They say that this could be the first generation of children not to outlive their parents because of the obesity epidemic and everything that comes with that.
Because of chocolate milk and pizza in schools. These are the
well,
major contributing factors, folks.
No, look, there's no question that chocolate milk is loaded with sugar and fat in most cases.
And it's damn good.
But if
serve low-fat chocolate milk.
That's also. Well, what about Ovaltine? Ovaltine is very nutritious. I like Ovaltine actually. But the
Meatless Monday sounds like an Alyssa Milano plan. Meatless Monday.
No, she's got nothing to do with it.
No,
but let me tell you why.
Wasn't she going on some sex strike or something?
She did, right. Sexless Saturday. That's her.
Or Meatless Monday.
But I will tell you why I don't think this is going to come to fruition because Bill de Blasio, right now, the farm lobby is dead set against this. And if there's one thing like clockwork you can always count on Bill de Blasio to do, it's sell out to special interests. As go the special interests, so goes Bill de Blasio. Even if it means changing his position, he will always go with the special interests. And in this case, the special interests are firmly on the side of chocolate milk. So you kids watching at home, if you're cutting school, you might be in luck.
You know what we should do? We should try to do a little prank on Bill de Blasio, being my name is John Tobacco. Tell him you want to bring in the head of the tobacco lobby to make a big donation to his campaign, and he might fall for it because my name's John Tobacco, if we can get in there.
When it comes to collecting money, trust me, the de Blasio campaign, they know what they're doing. That's the one thing that they seem somewhat proficient at.
Well, I mean, for those of you who missed it, we've chronicled it well on this show. Bill de Blasio allocated $800 million to his wife, Shirlane, for mental health programs. And $400 million is spent already, and there's not a single iota of measurable results, but $400 million, voila, is gone. And Anthony Imperatrice from Blue Lives Matter, who we've had on the show before, and I've called him by the wrong name. His name is Joe. He was going to do a mental health suicide prevention program with councilmen from Staten Island, Joe Borelli, along with the NYPD. And when the mayor's wife and her posse heard that the cops were going to be involved, they backed out. So they don't want to spend any of that $400 million on the good men and women of the NYPD. So we'll keep you posted on all the updates of our mayor, who's at 0 in the polls, and we'll see if we can get him to fall for our trick and take a meeting with the tobacco lobby. We're going to take a quick break, and Aaron Sykes is going to be sitting right here in just a few minutes. You stay right there. Back at you with Liquid Lunch right after this.